Have you ever stepped into an airport feeling excited for your trip and somehow walked out of security already exhausted, irritated, and mentally drained even before your flight began? Because what most travelers don't realize is that airports aren't just busy places filled with people and planes. They're carefully designed environments that quietly shape your emotions, your stress levels, and even your physical energy. And as a professional travel planner, airport hacks expert, and someone who has studied airport security flow and passenger behavior for years, I can tell you straight up that many of the frustrations you feel aren't accidental at all. They're the result of outdated layouts, poor design choices, confusing signage, overcrowded bottlenecks, harsh lighting, endless walking distances, loud echoing terminals, and a complete lack of human-centered planning. And it starts the moment you arrive, when drop-off zones are cramped and chaotic. Drivers honking, people rushing, luggage everywhere, already triggering your brain into stress mode. Then you walk inside, and instead of clear directions, you're hit with a wall of signs pointing in 10 different directions with tiny fonts, complicated symbols, and zero logic, forcing you to stop, look around, and second-guess every step. And that hesitation creates anxiety, which builds as you move towards security, where the lines twist and turn like a maze, sometimes stretching across the terminal with no clear end in sight. And what's worse is you can't see how fast it's moving, so your mind assumes the worst. Time feels slower, your heart rate increases, and suddenly you're worried about missing your flight, even if you arrived early. And while you're standing there, the environment makes it worse, with bright fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, cold air blasting nonstop, loud announcements echoing so you can't understand a word, and people bumping into you from all sides. And your body reacts like it's in danger, even though it's not, releasing stress hormones that drain your energy fast. Then once you finally reach the security checkpoint, you're rushed by officers shouting commands like shoes off, laptops out, move forward, bins here, no liquids, all while you're trying to remember the rules, hold your belongings, keep track of your passport, and not slow anyone down. And that pressure makes simple tasks feel overwhelming. People drop things, forget items, get pulled aside for extra screening, and that embarrassment adds another layer of stress. And after security, instead of relief, you're often dumped into a massive open terminal with zero clear flow. Stores randomly placed, gates hidden behind long corridors, and digital screens that change constantly, forcing you to walk back and forth just to find where you're supposed to go, burning energy for no reason. And by the time you finally locate your gate, you're already tired, hungry, irritated, and mentally worn out. And then comes the seating situation, where many airports pack chairs too close together with hard surfaces, no arm support, limited charging outlets, and barely any quiet zones. So you're stuck listening to crying babies, loud conversations, rolling suitcases, and constant announcements that break your focus every few minutes, making it impossible to relax. And let's talk about walking distances, because modern airports are massive, some requiring 20 to 40 minutes of non-stop walking just to reach a gate, often with poor moving walkways or broken ones. And if you're older, traveling with kids, or carrying heavy bags, that walk alone can drain your physical strength before you even board the plane. And yet designers keep expanding terminals without prioritizing rest areas or efficient shortcuts. And food courts are usually placed far from gates, forcing you to rush, stand in long lines, and eat fast instead of relaxing. And many airports intentionally place stores in high-traffic areas, so you're forced to walk through shopping zones to reach your gate, which might sound harmless, but psychologically it overloads your senses with bright displays, music, smells, and crowds, increasing mental fatigue even more. And on top of that, bathrooms are often poorly marked or too few for the number of passengers, leading to long waits that add frustration when you're already stressed. And when flights get delayed, which happens all the time, airports rarely have enough comfortable spaces for people to rest, stretch, or lie down, so travelers end up sitting on the floor, leaning against walls, or pacing around with nowhere to go. And the lack of natural light in many terminals messes with your body clock, making you feel sleepy, disoriented, or tense, while the constant artificial lighting keeps your brain alert when it should be resting. And here's something most people don't realize. Many airport layouts are built for operational efficiency and retail profit, not passenger comfort, meaning the focus is on moving crowds quickly and maximizing spending. not reducing stress, so narrow security lanes, long walking corridors, confusing junctions, and overcrowded waiting areas are often the result of squeezing more people into spaces that weren't designed for today's massive travel volumes. And security zones are sometimes placed far from entrances to control crowd flow. And gates are spaced widely to fit more planes, which means more walking for passengers. And relaxation zones are usually the first thing cut when budgets are tight because they don't generate money. And yet those are the exact spaces that could reduce anxiety and improve the travel experience. And from a security perspective, high-stress environments actually make things worse because anxious travelers are more likely to forget rules, make mistakes, argue with staff, or cause delays, slowing down the entire system. But instead of redesigning spaces to be calmer and clearer, many airports keep stacking temporary fixes like extra signs, rope barriers, and loud announcements, which only add more confusion and noise. And the result is a cycle of stress, feeding more stress. And what's crazy is that some airports around the world have proven that better design works. Places with wide-open security lanes, clear, simple signage, natural lighting, greenery, quiet seating areas, smooth walking paths, and visible gate directions consistently report happier travelers, faster security processing, and fewer conflicts, showing that the problem isn't travel itself, it's bad design. And now let's talk about practical solutions you can actually use right now as a traveler to protect your energy. Because while airports slowly improve, you still have to deal with today's chaos. And one of the best hacks is arriving earlier than usual, not just to avoid missing flights, but to remove the mental pressure of rushing. Because when you're not worried about time, your stress drops instantly. Another powerful trick is packing smart for security with easy access pockets for liquids, electronics, and documents, so you're not scrambling at the checkpoint. And wearing slip-on shoes saves both time and frustration. And once past security, don't rush straight to the gate. Take a few minutes to find quieter corners or less crowded seating areas, usually located near end gates or upper levels. And if your airport has lounges, even paid entry ones can be worth it for peace, comfortable seating, food, and charging stations. And staying hydrated helps your body manage stress better. So always carry an empty bottle and fill it after security. And using airport apps or maps to locate gates early saves unnecessary walking back and forth. And noise-canceling headphones or calming music can block out the chaos and help your brain relax. And if you have long layovers, try walking slowly around instead of pacing fast, treating it like light exercise instead of stress movement. And simple breathing techniques like slow, deep breaths while standing in lines can lower your heart rate and calm nerves. And choosing flights during off-peak hours, like early morning or late night, often means less crowded terminals and smoother security experiences. And when possible, picking smaller regional airports instead of massive hubs can dramatically reduce stress. And one overlooked trick is sitting near windows where there's natural light, because it improves mood and energy levels instantly. And finally, adjusting your mindset helps too. Reminding yourself that delays in crowds are part of travel and not personal attacks can reduce frustration. And looking at airport time as downtime instead of wasted time makes the experience feel lighter. And now here's the big truth. Airports don't have to be stressful, and the future of travel is slowly shifting towards smarter, calmer, more human-focused design with wider security areas, clear signage, green spaces, relaxation zones, and smoother passenger flow. But until that becomes standard, knowing how to navigate bad design gives you power over your travel experience. And that's exactly what we focus on here at Golden Age Travel Tips, breaking down hidden travel problems and giving you real solutions that actually work, so you can travel smarter, calmer, and happier every time. And if you found this breakdown helpful, imagine how much easier your future trips could be by learning simple airport hacks, stress-saving strategies, and insider travel tips regularly. So my suggestion for you is this: subscribe to Golden Age Travel Tips, turn on notifications, and start transforming the way you travel, because airports may be designed poorly, but with the right knowledge, you don't have to let them drain your energy ever again.